Thank you very much for a really, really excellent panel, Jin Kyung, and you certainly picking up some really strong insights. They're one of my favorite lines. Certainly, we have to be moving together and be more deliberately inclusive coming out of the conversation. Now, ladies and gentlemen, once again, irrespective of where you may be in the world, a key message coming out of this discussion is that we must leave no one behind. As we transition now to our next conversation, we ask the question, what does leaving no one behind look like in the business community? And we're bringing into sharp focus small and medium-sized enterprises. We're reminded, of course, that we're talking about the fact that SMEs make up 90% of all businesses. They make up or they provide 50% of total employment. And in fact, 7 out of every 10 jobs comes out of small and medium-sized enterprises. And yet we find the conundrum where they receive very little attention in the context of their sustainability journey. This conversation is designed to turn exactly against that tide and to begin to have a meaningful conversation. Of course, we're going to hear about the UN Global Compact's work in its very SME-specific strategy and how they're leveraging that strategy to close this gap to ensure that SMEs are not left behind as we talk about how do we achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and how do we embed the 10 principles in the core and the center of business strategy. Moderating this session is Christina Sanchez. And she is, of course, the executive director of UNGC, the local network in Spain. And she is going to be taking over and leading us in this session. Christina, it is over to you from me.
Welcome everyone to this session. I think it's going to be a very interesting session entitled Harnessing Collective Action at the Scale, introducing the UN Global Compact SME Strategy, Engagement Strategy. So my name is Christina Sanchez. I am the Executive Director of the UN Global Compact Local Network Spain, and it is a pleasure for me to moderate this session in which we will have 4 panelists from very different but very complementary organizations in our joint mission, which is to get SME involved in the sustainable management of their businesses. I would like first to start by giving the context in which the UN Global Compact has developed our SME strategy. As you already know, SMEs are the engine of the private sector growth, both in developing and developed economies, and they are critical to the fulfillment of the global goals and the 10 principles, and they represent 19% of the businesses and 50% of the total employment. The ILO reports that in developing economies, 7 out of 10 jobs are created by SMEs, making them important stakeholders in the success and failures of national and regional sustainability agendas. Data from UN Global Compact participating companies shows that SMEs are broadly lagging on integrating sustainability within their core business operations. 54 of those companies with revenue of less than 25 million US dollar have set measurable sustainability goals versus approximately 86% of companies with revenue of more than 1 billion US dollar. Also, on top of sustainability integration challenges, the UN Secretary Global Crisis Response Group indicates that the war in Ukraine has set in motion a 3-dimensional crisis on food, on energy, and finance. That is producing cascading effects to the world economy. SME face an unpredicted set of challenges in this crisis context, in particular from supply chain disruptions, access to finance and business continuity issues, in addition to impacts felt by the COVID-19. So, what is our plan to meet the challenges in Global Compact? With this in mind, with this context in mind, the UN Global Compact has made a decision to focus on SME engagement as part of its 2021-23 strategy. A specific SME engagement strategy has been developed to drive delivery on this strategy. to accelerate and scale meaningful impact of SMEs on sustainability goals through capacity building to adopt the 10 principles of the UN Global Compact. This strategy identifies 5 work streams that will enable the UN Global Compact to engage and enable more SMEs to adopt responsible practices and thrive. These 5 work streams are: the first one is to improve digital support platform, enable SMEs and outside the UN Global Compact to access content and a tool to facilitate SME engagement. The second one, we have created simple, tailored programming on the 10 principles delivered through the e-learning course, virtual academy experiences, and locally delivered per learning groups. The third work stream is supply chain impact pilots, working through corporate and government supply chains to SMEs on an e-learning journey culminating in the ability for SMEs to report on their sustainability progress. The fourth work stream is about empowering our local networks to make contribution to national and regional policy developments around trade, sustainability, and investment that support SMEs. And finally, the fifth work stream will establish partnership. We are already working on those partnerships that promote business opportunities and access to markets for responsible SMEs through integrating sustainability requirements in procurement frameworks through business associations and e-marketplaces. Our goal with these 5 work streams is to engage 10,000 SMEs in 2023 through digital onboarding, e-learning, and supply chain impact pilots, and empowering them to report on their sustainability progress. So last week, Sandao Giambo, Assistant Secretary General and CEO of the UN Global Compact, and Pamela Cook-Hamilton, Executive Director of the International Trade Center, met in Davos at the World Economic Forum to sign a letter of intent to collaborate in this SME work. The collaboration will focus on technical capacity building and country-level coordination in delivering the SME strategy, and signs the first of many partnerships that we will need it to empower SME globally. We have also partnered with Undp and ICC on the private sector global facility to further support SMEs in their sustainability journey, improve their access to markets, and lower barriers to capital. I'm pleased to announce that modules 1 and 2 of our e-learning course, Future-Proofing Your Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise, are being launched now, today, and they are available at the link our team will be sharing in the chat. The course is an interactive 60 minutes e-learning course designed to help you, SMEs, to get started on your sustainability journey that results in a certificate of completion. Peer learning groups also and academy experiences will be open to companies sign up at the end of 2024, and company activities will start in 2023. Finally, supply chains pilot will be underway this year, starting with our pilot taking place in my local network in Spain. In this project, we will be working with multinational companies, training and making capacity building to a part of their supply chain made out of SMEs, and these SMEs will have access to the academy platform in which they will find resources, webinars, sustainability indicators, and materials to understand first and then implement the 10 principles. So now is the interesting part of the panel. We are going to hear our speakers talking about how they are working in their organization or in their companies with SME, and also we will have one SME, a Spanish SME, which is working in sustainability. So I will introduce them, and you will have a few minutes just to introduce and make an introduction of yourself. So I will start with Luz Elena Barragan Bravo, Director of Social Responsibility at Cemex. Luz?
Hi, Christina. Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is having a great day or afternoon, whatever in the world you are. I'm Luz Barragan, Social Impact Director for Cemex Mexico. I've been at the company for over 20 years, leading the CSR strategy And I'm happy to share with you what we are doing with SMEs and our procurement and different teams in the company. Thank you.
Thank you, Luz. Also, we have Robert Skidmore, Chief of Sector and Enterprise Competitiveness Section at International Trade Center. Robert?
Thanks, Christina. Thanks a lot for having ITC on this. So I'm managing a section here where we have groups of people that work with SMEs on functional issues like e-commerce, finance, supply chain, packaging, as well as those who work on some vertical sectors like apparel, tech sector, and agribusiness. Overall, ITC works with about 20 to 25,000 SMEs a year. We promote about $1 billion worth of trade. So this is a subject really very close to our heart, and I'll have a chance to tell you more about it in just a minute.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you. Also, we have Luciana Aguilar from UNDP. She is the program manager at the UNDP Private Sector in Development. So, Luciana, please.
Thank you, Christina. I'm Luciana Aguilar. I lead the Private Sector Global Facility that is located on the UNDP Sustainable Finance Hub. It's also a partnership with the UN Global Compact, ICC, DHL, Microsoft, and PwC. Pleased to be here with you.
Thank you, Luciana. And finally, we have Francisca Hernandez, International Business Development at ARPA. You're muted, Francisca. We cannot hear you, please.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christina. So, well, first, I'm very pleased to be part of this interesting, indeed, and relevant discussion. I work as International Business Development Area Manager in ARPA, and I'm also part of the team that we are working along with our CEO in sustainability matters in ARPA.
Thank you, Francisca. So, Luz, let's start with you. And the vision from a multinational company as Cemex is, I know you have been working with your supply chain for a long time. So how important, I would like to ask you, how important is in your value chain sustainability for you to Cemex, and how does it fit into your own sustainability journey? How important in that global sustainability strategy, your work with supply chain?
Supply chain. Thank you. For us at Cemex, supply chain sustainability starts with being aware of our environmental, social, and economic impacts, and most importantly, communicating and working together with our partners and how they can help us in achieving our goals in our 4 strategic priorities. So today I'm sharing with you how, in 2 examples, how these partnerships with SMEs and other companies has helped us achieve our goals in 2 of our priorities. This has, as you said, Christina, has started. We have built strong, responsible, and long-lasting relationships with our clients and suppliers that are based on trust, respect, and mutual value creation. And for this, we recognize our clients and suppliers, both upstream and downstream, that they make great contributions to our business by delivering innovative solutions and services. We thrive on diversity of ideas and perspectives because we believe integral solutions are made this way. So as an example of this, I want to share the first example is we have a sustainability priority. And just recently, yesterday, we launched the Carbon Neutral Alliance at our cement plant in Germany. This alliance includes over 20 private and public entities dedicated to climate innovation, one of our goals to reach net zero by 2050. So as our CEO pointed out yesterday at the inauguration event, our goal is to contribute to bring the world closer to climate neutrality by introducing breakthrough decarbonization technologies, and this is only possible through the cooperation of our business partners. We know we can do this by ourselves. Another example to share today is the Cemex Contractor Health and Safety Verification Program. This program is designed to certify contractor compliance with stringent health and safety standards, proper training, and applicable accreditations in the execution of their work within our operations. This program is a key component in the pursuit of our Zero for Life priority, and it is aligned to our health and safety priority, which is number 1 for us at Cemex. So this program is globally executed in partnership with specialized firms. And last year, we reached an 88% contractor health and safety verification rate. The second consecutive year, we surpassed our 2030 target of 80% certification, our procurement spend. So as we keep strengthening our relationships across our network of suppliers, we want to engage with our clients and suppliers, different size of companies to our core values, and by ensuring that our suppliers comply with our code of ethics and business conduct. And as well, we have developed a code of conduct when doing business with us. So that's what I'm sharing to you, and that's how important it is for us. We have developed tools, procedures, policies, practices to share with our SMEs and different clients and suppliers to reach together our goals, because we know that if they prosper, we prosper as a company as well.
Thank you, Luz. Very interesting. Now I would like to go with Rob. You said that you have been working with a large number of SMEs. I would like to know, are there trends now that you are seeing as a result of global events that are particularly affecting SMEs in regard to sustainability? Robert, please.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for the question. And this could get quite depressing, so I'll try not to go too deep into the negative. But I think so. We heard at the opening that there's been issues. So supply chain issues, inflation, high cost of fuel, and other things are affecting SMEs in their fundamentals. What this means is that for a company manager, so they don't have 30 divisions and a bunch of middle management. They are focused on survival. When they're focused on survival, it's difficult to keep sustainability. So the first lesson for us is we talk about competitiveness, fundamentals, staying profitable. If a company is doing that, then they have the headspace and the ability to look at sustainability and medium term type issues. So we try to integrate that into our work, competitiveness plus sustainability integrated to it. Second one, kind of related, is the high cost of capital. So we see, interest rates, inflation going up. It's always an issue for SMEs. It's going to be more of an acute issue for SMEs, so that the money they need to make investments, kind of investments that Luz has been talking about, is more expensive, more difficult to get, and they've got in a way less attention to go for it. So we're thinking in terms of how do we not only reduce the cost of capital, but how do we reduce the, let's say, difficulty, complexity around getting loans. So there's a lot we can do to accompany SMEs on that journey. The next one is there's a coming anvil of regulation and different things that are coming down on SMEs. So we see the directive from the European Union. There's U.S. states that are getting involved. There's many different things, and there are good corporate partners who are also handing down different regulations. So this level of complexity is difficult for SMEs to manage. So we see our role as trying to help make these things comparable, make them more digestible, provide data on them, and also provide accompaniment. So one of the things we're doing there, for instance, with the European Union, is trying to help them understand what the impact is on SMEs and how they can provide accompanying measures along with that. Fragmentation of global markets, I think we all see it kind of coming. This, again, adds to the complexity that an SME manager has to. So if I've got some standards going this way, some going the others, a third set going to a third set of markets, it raises kind of the level of complexity and difficulty for SME managers. So I think that's something, we're always working on interoperability, trying to make things more comparable and smoother across. And I think it was mentioned also in the opening, the growing trust and importance of digital is really important. So this is really an opportunity for SMEs because they can do things cheaper, quicker. They can be present in places they wouldn't be otherwise. But we find also a challenge for SMEs. They're not prepared in many ways to manage this. So digitizing their core operations is difficult. So we're taking a more concerted approach to trying to enable them to be able to operate digitally, to manage costs and be able to communicate, for instance, information on sustainability more easily and more reliably to corporate partners and buyers. So those are some of the biggest ones. I would say also, I think the behavior of buyers is changing. So even this year, many years, I was in conversations where corporate buyers would say, "Hey, we'll talk about sustainability, but we won't talk about price. We'll talk about anything but price." Now we see a real change. People are saying, "Well, maybe we have to pay more. Maybe we have to change our behavior as buyers." I think that's an incredibly positive development, and we're trying to create alliances with these kinds of buyers who want to take a serious look at how they can enable sustainability in their supply chains. So back over to you,
So
Christina.
you think you would say that the role of the large companies with their supply chain is very important, I guess.
It's super important, and
Mm-hmm.
also, how serious they are in terms of supporting SMEs rather than making more of a compliance type of situation.
We will hear an SME, but before Luciana, I would like to know from UNDP perspective, what type of challenge are you seeing in SMEs facing on sustainability from your point of view?
One of the greatest learnings that we had from COVID-19 pandemic has to do with the need to scale up and to achieve the ambitious sustainable development goals by 2030. It really requires a collective action. So that's why we started this collaboration with the UN Global Compact, ICC, DHL, Microsoft, and PwC, particularly looking on how we could enhance the resilience of MSMEs towards a more environmentally sustainable and climate resilience as well as social justice world. So we designed this strategy based on three pillars and three solution areas. One relates to green transition. How can we support MSMEs to make the green transition, benefit from the green transition? How we can connect them to markets, and this is a real asset that some of our partners bring to the table. And it relates also to how we can help them to lower the barriers for accessing capital. So there's a strong local presence and networks of the global facility partners to ensure that this transformative service offer can be really assessed at a global scale. And I think that we rely a lot in terms of the UNGC and the ICC local presence and all our partners as well. We understand that we need to have an approach to support MSMEs that really is scalable and that can help them to also understand how they can measure and manage their impact as we do this process in doing the green transition and also in being more sustainable in their business practices. UNDP also support MSMEs through another network that's called Connecting Business Initiative. And it's mostly supports MSMEs to deal with disaster management under crisis. And it also connects with private sector networks at the national level. So, and of course, we are supporting the G20 Indonesian presidency on their priority in the development of working group on the G20 roadmap for stronger recovery and resilience, including a strong focus on what we have provided strong policy support regarding MSMEs. So how can we really develop policies that can create an enabling environment for supporting MSMEs in terms of access to capital, access to markets, as well as how we can support them in this green transition. That's how it goes from the UNDP side. Thank you, Christina, for your question.
Thank you, Luciana. And now, so often I think we talk about SMEs with large companies, about their supply chain, also with other organizations. But I think it's really important just to hear about from an SME. And that's something that in our local network we are doing. We are asking them, what do you need? What do you... and also I would like to say that sometimes we are a little paternalist. I don't know if we can say that in English about SMEs. I mean that we think that they are doing nothing in sustainability, but sometimes we found that some SMEs, they are doing like great jobs, great innovation programs, and so I think we have to be more open and listen to SMEs. So we couldn't have a panel without an SME. So Francisca, you are the representative of SMEs. Thank you for being with us. What types of challenges are you facing? I know you cannot talk about representing all SMEs, obviously, but in your experience, what are the challenges that you are facing when you are implementing a sustainability strategy in an SME?
Well, yes, thank you. I think one of the most obvious and important one is that SMEs, we have limited resources, so we cannot afford dedicated, sustainable departments or even staff. Yes, so this is a priori limitation, and that's why we welcome this kind of, for example, the engagement strategy towards the SMEs that the UN Global Compact is developing, and also other mechanisms that will help us, yes, to integrate and to make these transformations. At the same time, I must say that SMEs, we can be very active, and we are real drivers of innovation. So this is one thing important to be taken into account. And the other thing is that usually we have more agile decision mechanism, and that help us to make big transformations in fewer time. So this is also important. For example, in the case, I cannot obviously talk for all SMEs, as you said, Christina, but in our particular case, well, we have a very committed CEO, very committed to sustainability CEO, and with her help and with her yes, under her leadership, we have made a very big transformation in our company. For example, we are almost net zero, yes, emissions in our daily run company, and we are engineering and manufacturing, yes. So, and this has led to new opportunities, even for in businesses. So this is another important factor that has to be taken into account, because this has led us to a new business line to help other companies, institutions, organizations that want to make this transition to sustainability too. And also, we have make an investment to develop hydrogen generators. So we are producing green hydrogen in modular green hydrogen generators that can be applied in urban areas, industrial areas, and also dispensers. And all this in partnership with different partners. Yes, for example, for the dispensers that we are promoting green mobility, sustainable mobility, in partnership with a service station specialist company, and another example is zero energy mode living module that will save 85% of energy consumption compared to usual modules used in the same environments. And in particular, this one, which is based in passive house standards, is going to be developed in the Antarctic. Yes, so we are talking about a big energy savings. And this is also in partnership with other companies and foundations. So this to say that SMEs, we are active, we can do a lot of things, we need support, and we need tools and mechanisms adapted to our reality. Yes, because of course we have to do business with more limited resources than other big companies.
You're muted, Christina.
Sorry. Thank you, Francisca. I just was saying that one of the things that we say to SMEs, also large companies, but especially to SMEs, to convince them to start their sustainability strategies is that there is business opportunity in this. I think, as Robert said before, they are surviving, and I feel that in Spain also, for obviously that they are surviving. So this is I think one of the things that we have to promote in this in this discussion with SMEs, that there is a business opportunity. And this brings me to Cemex again, Luz, because I think one of the also issues that are moving SMEs are when their clients, their large clients, are asking them for information about sustainability, and they are interested in what are they doing in sustainability. So how does a large corporation like Cemex take the sustainability practices of SMEs into account before engaging with them and bring them into the business? Luz.
Yes, thank you, Christina. So what we do for this and how to bring them with us is that we have developed for more than or a decade, and we have been listening. I feel that we have the same issue whenever the country or the region we have is SMEs are on the survival mode. Every time we bring up sustainability goals, they are filled with overwhelming thoughts of large sums of money to invest that they don't have, an army of people to put to work which they don't have. And I think in the last years, there's been a change of mindset of that they think sustainability and CSR is important, and this will propel them forward for their business in the market, but they don't know how to do this. So for more than a decade, Cemex has deployed a supplier sustainability program that has already maintained a positive impact with our suppliers and contributed to the strengthening of our values chains consistency. Last year, we increased the number of suppliers evaluated in sustainability matters, reaching over 70% of our critical group that it's related to our business continuity, our health and safety, or environmental risks. And we are looking forward to reach more than 80% by 2025, and actually advancing our goal of 90% of the critical group by 2030. So we have implemented continuous sustainability improvement on our supply chain by assessing them. We invite them to do an ISO 26000 guideline assessment, which covers social, environmental, health and safety, as you know, and see where they are. Then we see a continuous improvement report where this company, a third-party company, prepares a comprehensive report with findings, conclusions, and which gaps to close. And finally, this is integrated in each supplier's scorecard, so we can continually review and track and prioritize these suppliers. And I just want to add that last year we did a pilot with over 50 small and medium clients and suppliers from our operations in Mexico, so they can incorporate the 10 principles and SDGs goals in their sustainable business strategy. And what you say, Francisca and Robert, is the same thing. For 5 months, we accompanied these 50 companies. We developed 8 workshops with participants to help them identify priorities, targets, goals, and KPIs on the sustainability realm. We help them to analyze their impacts on SDGs, to understand what an SDG is, the 10 principles, how they can incorporate them in their business strategy, and 83% of the participants recommend the program. What we found and what we learned: SMEs need support, as Francisca says, and a very close follow-up of the corporate level to find and to really take advantage of this program. And schedule and time management, as they are in this survival mode, as we can say, but they have multitasking employees, and for them to really capitalize or optimize the experience, they have really to focus on that. And also platforms that need to be self-explanatory and user-friendly. And also we see a need of creating more networking spaces so they can share practices, what these hurts and pains are, and how they are overcoming by peers. And this is really, really been helpful. So that's what we are doing with our supply chain.
Thank you, Elena. Incredible. Rob, as I said before, our organization, Global Compact and ITC, they signed a partnership. We really believe in partnership, especially with organizations that have experience with the issues that we are working on. So here with SMEs, this partnership will focus on training and capacity building. Do you think this is, because I know you have listened to SME, so as we said before, so do you think how can we be useful as organization and in this partnership for SMEs? Do you think build capacity building, training, what we are going to do, but how can we can be useful?
Yeah, thanks for the question. We're excited about it, and we signed the letter of intent, so we're all in. I think we've got 3 or 4 things we think are really good ideas, good things we can do together. So one of them, we're committed. We work with these clusters of SMEs a lot across the world, especially concentrated in Africa and in least developed countries. We are committed to connecting them to your members as suppliers, and in a way working with you to make sure that the value chains, supply chains distribute value more equally, they're more sustainable, and they're fairer in a way. So that's part of the letter of intent we've signed, and I think that it's this kind of alliance and partnership is the only way we can really make it happen. If it's us in one corner and you in the other, it's not going to get anywhere. In Africa in particular, we see good opportunities for collaboration. I think you've just started a GC network hub in Abuja, in Nigeria, that you're supporting AFCFTA process, so the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, which we're also very involved in. And I think that there's chances for us with your networks in Africa to do a lot as part of our One Trade Africa and a bunch of other programs. So we think there's good connections there. In particular, we see also huge synergies with a program we have called She Trades, where we work with women-owned companies, women entrepreneurs, and also our so-called Green to Compete hubs. So hubs where we particularly focus on helping SMEs through the green transition. Having networks where we can diffuse this stuff and listen and bring in other partners is really the way that we can be more effective. Globally, we're also, I think, exchanging and working together on our kind of global public goods and global tools. So we have a sustainability map, and we're incorporating, I think, GC principles and so on. And I think we're working with you to disseminate sustainability map, which is a database where people can look at sustainability standards and get help complying with them and understanding them to your members in turn. And I think that the more we work together on that, and also through our SME Trade Academy, where we're doing some distance learning with you, the more that we can have a bigger joint impact. And I think the last one is not last, but none of them first or last. They're all good. We want to work with you on the Women's Entrepreneurship Accelerator, again, connecting through She Trades. And we think that the chances to do good things there with your members and with a big wider audience of SMEs are huge. So I think there's a lot of things that we can do together, and we're ready to start.
Thank you, Rob. And also, obviously, as I said, we believe in partnerships. And there's, Luciana, another partnership with UNDP. Our organization are also working together through, in this case, through the Global Facility Partnership. Can you speak a little bit about the programming on this issue for UNDP and for the Global Facility Partnership?
Of course. Actually, UNDP's strategic plan to the Sustainable Finance Hub, UNDP has made a bold commitment to work with our partners to promote investment of $1 trillion towards the sustainable, towards the SDGs by 2025. So we recognize the importance of improved impact management for shifting the current systems of decision making towards investment with positive impact on people and planet. Particularly on the MSMEs, we understand that SMEs contribute to a high environmental footprint as a group. They represent almost 60 to 70% of industrial pollution in Europe and carry out similar impacts in developing countries. This will in turn affect the economic prospects of MSMEs, particularly on carbon-intensive companies, including those in supply chains of EU companies. and they cannot attract investments from the EU, as investors and investment funds will increasingly invest in green or sustainable activities, either by regulations or by stakeholders' activism. So, and we've seen that 30% of SMEs investment have an impact management system in place. They are often unable to assess the environmental impact of their activities, and they need guidance. So what we see as a great potential for our partnership with UNGC is mostly how we can not only help the MSMEs to understand the 10 principles, but at the same time embed the best practices that UNGC, ICC, and our partners have in order to streamline this type of contents to MSMEs. We are also aware that among the business of all sizes, MSMEs are affected disproportionately compared to large companies. So 50% of them are under severe financial distress. 25% had to lay off staff. So we see this as a process that can really enable them to access capital and really tap into the opportunities that are out there to access a sustainable finance. So looking at blended finance and other mechanisms that can support MSMEs in the medium and the long term.
Great, thank you, Luciana. Now, Francisca, I think we have been saying a lot these last years, maybe telling SMEs what they have to do. Sorry, but I think it's interesting also to hear from you, from an SME. How can large companies and other organizations like Global Compact or others, how can we improve ourselves in order to help SMEs going through the sustainability journey? How or what would you ask us as other organizations to help you?
Well, I think, as I said, adapted mechanisms are very welcome because we have limited resources, and in this sense, I think there's a progress are being made. But I would like to change a little bit the point of view of this question, and we often think about SMEs and we automatically go to supply chain and the way they are behaving. Yes, I would like to introduce another factor that would be what are we being asked for by buyers? I don't mind if it's corporate buyers or administration. Usually, even these sustainability matters are more and more important, which is a very good news. But in the way that purchases are made and contracts are awarded, there are still a very few criteria when they are related to sustainability. So what is really decisive today is still the price. Yes. So there we have a huge lever that is not being used or not in its potential, its total potentiality yet. So I think this we have to think about it. Sustainability criteria have to be introduced, or when they are already there, used. They have to have more weight, yes, and they have to be applied. Otherwise, there will be no real change because no SMEs in the world will afford this without reward. And what's more important, this will really make a very big effect on SMEs that are not willing to adapt these sustainability criteria, because there will be a reward and they will be encouraged. But from what is today, I think we still have room for improvement. Yes.
That's a good message, Francisca. I think, as I said, I think SMEs, they have to do a lot of improvement, but I think buyers, and I'm not talking also about corporate, but also public, they have to implement their own messages. So thank you, Francisca. I'm very happy because we are on time. So I would like to thank you, four of you. I think we had a panel very equilibrated. We have two organizations that are working already with SMEs, and also we have this large company, Cemex, who is very working a lot with SMEs, and also Francisca, really nice to hear you, all your experiences. So thank you very much. I think we need an SME Leader Summit just to talk about all the issues that are connected with SMEs. It's a good challenge. I've been working with UN Global Compact teams of SME strategy, and it has been really a pleasure to think how can we help SMEs. So thank you again, and I hope to see you very soon, maybe in person next time. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Christina.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.